Welcome to today's story. Are you ready to feel inspired? This is the incredible journey of a man who faced massive obstacles but refused to quit. His name is Barack Obama. He rose from a boy with a challenging childhood to become the 44th President of the United States, proving to the world that through hard work, determination, and self-belief, anything is possible. This story will guide you through his early life, his hardships, his dreams, and the people who supported him along the way. It is a story about rising above difficulties and striving for a brighter future. As you listen, you will not only improve your English, but also discover meaningful life lessons. Now, let's begin. Barack Hussein Obama was born on August 4, 1961, in the beautiful state of Hawaii, located in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. But even though he was born in America, his story truly begins in a very different place. His father, Barack Obama Sr., came from Kenya in East Africa, and his mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, was from Kansas in the United States. His parents met while his father was studying in Hawaii, but shortly after Barack was born, they separated, and his father returned to Kenya. Barack's life from the very start was filled with challenges. His father was far away, and his mother worked tirelessly to raise him. Despite these hardships, Barack developed a powerful sense of hope and ambition. He always imagined a better future even when life was difficult. When Barack was still very young, his father would send him letters. Although he couldn't fully understand everything written, he valued those letters deeply. They became a symbol of his father's love, even from a distance. Barack grew up knowing his father was an important part of his life, even though they spent very little time together. While his father was not physically there, Barack had other strong influences. His mother, Ann Dunham, was a woman of great strength and wisdom. She worked hard to support him and ensure he had what he needed to succeed. She was not only his mother, but also his teacher, his mentor, and his biggest supporter. She encouraged him to stay curious, to ask questions, and to believe in his potential. Her dedication to education and hard work became some of the most important lessons she passed on. She taught him the value of persistence and the power of knowledge. As a child, Barack didn't have many material possessions, but he had everything necessary to succeed: love, guidance, and belief in his future. Besides his mother, Barack was also deeply influenced by his grandparents. His grandfather was a tough, hardworking man who never gave up, while his grandmother was caring and always looked after others. Together, they helped raise Barack and provided him with stability. They made sure he had what he needed and supported him every step of the way. Even though Barack grew up without his father, he never felt empty. Instead, he learned to value the people who stood by him and cared for him. Barack understood that family is not only about blood, it is about those who support you, guide you, and push you to chase your dreams. Barack Obama's journey is not only about overcoming family struggles, it is also about identity and race. As a young boy, Barack often felt different. Because his father was African and his mother was American, he found himself between two cultures. He was frequently the only black student in his school, which made him feel like he didn't belong. People would ask questions like, "Where are you from?" or "What is your background?" These questions were difficult for him because he didn't feel fully connected to either side. He didn't completely fit into the black community since he didn't grow up in Africa, and he didn't fit into the white community because of his roots. For a long time, Barack struggled to understand where he belonged. But instead of letting this confusion control him, he chose to embrace his uniqueness. He saw his differences as strengths. He realized that his background could help unite people, regardless of race or culture. He learned that the world needed individuals who could bridge gaps and build understanding. This lesson stayed with him throughout his life. Barack Obama always dreamed big. As a young boy, he wasn't sure how he would reach his goals, but he believed education was the key. He worked hard in school and performed well, but even with his dedication, life was not easy. He faced discrimination, doubts, and challenges that many young people experience, especially those from difficult backgrounds. Yet his determination stood strong. He refused to let obstacles stop him. After graduating from high school, Barack moved to the mainland United States to attend Occidental College in California. It was a major step, leaving behind his family and the comfort of Hawaii. But he was ready. He wanted to grow, learn, and explore new opportunities. This marked the beginning of a new chapter. At Occidental College, Barack encountered a diverse environment. He met people from various backgrounds and started seeing the world differently. But he also felt the pressure of living up to his own expectations. He understood that achieving his dreams would require more effort, smarter work, and unwavering persistence. Later, he transferred to Columbia University in New York City, one of the most prestigious universities in the country. This was another big challenge. New York was fast and demanding, and Barack had to adapt to a completely new lifestyle. But he stayed focused and determined. At Columbia, he studied political science, which later shaped his career. He became more aware of social issues like inequality and poverty. He saw how people struggled and developed a strong desire to help them. He realized that education was not just about earning a degree. It was about using knowledge to improve society. After finishing his studies, Barack moved to Chicago, where he worked as a community organizer. This role took him into some of the poorest neighborhoods. His work was tough. It required listening to people, understanding their struggles, and finding solutions. He spent long hours facing challenges. Many people were doubtful at first, but Barack remained committed. He believed in the power of communities coming together to create change. As a community organizer, he faced skepticism and resistance. Some people had lost hope, while others were too burdened by their problems to listen. But Barack believed in something greater, the idea that united people could create real impact. He worked tirelessly to improve living conditions, fighting for better housing, education, and job opportunities. This period of his life taught him valuable lessons about the importance of education, the strength of community, and the power of belief. His journey shows that no matter where you come from or how hard life gets, you can always strive for a better future. Barack Obama's time in Chicago laid the groundwork for everything that followed. His efforts were not just about solving immediate problems. They were about inspiring people to believe in their own power. He knew that to create larger change, he needed to step into politics. Deciding to run for office was not easy. He understood the challenges ahead. He was young, inexperienced, and different. But he had something unique, a deep connection to ordinary people and their struggles. In 1996, Barack ran for the Illinois State Senate. It was his first entry into politics, and he knew it would be difficult. He faced experienced opponents with more resources, but he had a strong vision. He believed in building a government that truly served the people, especially those often ignored. His campaign focused on real conversations instead of flashy promotions. He knocked on doors, visited homes, and listened to people's concerns. He wanted to understand their lives and show that he genuinely cared. Against all odds, Barack won the election, becoming a state senator in Illinois. This was just the beginning. He worked to improve healthcare, education, and support for the underprivileged. He collaborated with both parties, believing unity was the best path forward. Even with success, he felt he could do more. He decided to aim higher by running for the U.S. Senate in 2004. Before that, he delivered a speech at the Democratic National Convention, which changed everything. At the time, he was relatively unknown, but his words captured the nation. He spoke with passion, hope, and unity, reaching millions. He talked about an America where everyone had equal opportunity, regardless of background. His message that there is not a divided America, but one united nation deeply resonated with people. It was a defining moment that showed he was not just a politician, but a leader who could inspire change. This speech launched him into national recognition and gave people hope that a better future was possible. In 2004, Barack Obama won the U.S. Senate election. Now serving in Washington, D.C., he worked on major issues like healthcare, ethics, and ending war. He aimed not only to pass laws, but also to inspire future leaders. One of his key efforts was advocating for accessible healthcare, believing it was a fundamental right. Despite opposition, he stayed committed and helped bring healthcare access to millions. He also worked on improving education, reforming the justice system, and protecting the environment. He became known for uniting people, even when they disagreed. As his influence grew, many believed he could become president. Deciding to run was challenging, but he saw it as a chance to create meaningful change. In 2007, he officially announced his presidential campaign, facing strong competition and doubts. Yet he believed in change and inspired others to believe too. He traveled across the nation, meeting people, listening to their stories, and sharing his vision. His message of hope and unity connected with people from all walks of life. On November 4, 2008, Barack Obama made history by becoming the first black president of the United States. It was a moment of pride and hope for millions. His victory symbolized possibility and inspired people worldwide. After taking office, he faced major challenges, including an economic crisis, wars, and unemployment. Yet he remained focused and determined. He worked to rebuild the economy, create jobs, and reform systems. Despite criticism, he stayed committed to helping people. One of his biggest achievements was expanding healthcare access through major reform. He also handled global challenges using diplomacy and leadership, making tough decisions when necessary. His presidency was marked by both success and criticism, but throughout it all, he remained dedicated to his vision. His journey from a young boy facing struggles to leading a nation is a powerful reminder that with determination, belief, and hard work, anything is achievable. Change. In 2015, he played a key role in bringing together the Paris Climate Agreement, a landmark deal focused on cutting global carbon emissions and fighting climate change. Many world leaders praised the agreement, but it also sparked debate. Critics argued that it could damage the economy, while supporters believed it was essential to protect the planet for future generations. Barack's dedication to tackling climate change became a defining part of his presidency, showing that he was thinking not only about the present, but also about the future. But even as he pushed for progress, Barack faced challenges at home. In 2016, he had to confront the rise of Donald Trump, a businessman and television personality running for president. Trump's campaign used divisive language and promised to reverse many of the policies Barack had worked so hard to establish. As the election drew closer, it became clear that the nation was deeply divided, and Barack understood that his successor would face a difficult road ahead. Throughout his presidency, Barack Obama delivered speeches that were powerful and filled with hope. However, some of his words also created controversy. One of the most well-known moments came in 2008, when he spoke about bitter Americans who cling to guns or religion. His comment was intended to highlight the struggles of people facing tough economic conditions, but many took it as an insult to hardworking, religious Americans. Barack quickly apologized, yet the moment remained part of the story surrounding his presidency. Another controversial issue was his stance on race relations. During his time in office, Barack often spoke about race and inequality in America. His words were inspiring to many, but they also caused division. In 2009, when African-American professor Henry Louis Gates, JRB, was arrested in his own home by a white police officer, Barack commented that the police had acted stupidly. This statement sparked a nationwide debate about race and law enforcement, bringing attention to the deep racial tensions in the country. Barack's speeches on race were meant to unite people and encourage understanding, but they were not always accepted by everyone. Some believed he focused too much on race, while others felt he didn't do enough to address injustice. Still, Barack continued to speak out, knowing his voice had the power to inspire change. Barack Obama's presidency was filled with challenges, but it was also marked by important achievements. He pushed for healthcare reform, action on climate change, and economic recovery. He made history as the first African-American president and showed the world that anything is possible, no matter your background. He left office in January 2017, but his influence continues to be felt today. Many of his policies remain in place, and his legacy continues to inspire people around the world. He demonstrated that leadership is not about being perfect. It is about standing up for what is right, even when the path is difficult. He believed that change was possible, and he proved that with hard work, dedication, and faith in people, anything can happen. Barack Obama's story is not just about political success. It is about hope, resilience, and believing in a better future. He showed us that no matter the obstacles we face, we can overcome them with determination and a commitment to justice. His life reminds us that leadership is not about power. It is about serving others and doing what is right. After Barack Obama left office in January 2017, many wondered what he would do next. The world had seen him lead for 8 years, leaving a lasting impact on the nation. People admired his leadership, his calm during crises, and his commitment to equality and justice. But his journey was far from over. Even after stepping away from the presidency, his influence did not fade. In fact, his years after office became proof of his continued dedication to service, progress, and the greater good. One of his first major initiatives was the creation of the Obama Foundation. This organization was designed to inspire and empower the next generation of leaders. Barack's vision was clear: to build a space where young people from around the world could connect, learn from each other, and work together to solve problems in their communities. The foundation focuses on leadership development, global engagement, and community building. Barack strongly believes that young people hold the key to solving the world's biggest challenges. He often speaks about how the future belongs to them, and that they have the power to create meaningful change. Through programs like the Obama Foundation Scholars Program, young leaders receive tools and opportunities to make a difference, whether locally or globally. Barack has always said that his greatest hope is not just to leave behind laws and policies, but to leave a legacy of empowerment. He wants the next generation to lead with empathy, understanding, and a strong sense of justice. Through his foundation, he has planted the seeds for a better future, one that will continue to grow long after him. Since leaving the presidency, Barack Obama has traveled across the world, speaking on major global issues. His messages focus on unity, hope, and the idea that we are all connected. He has spoken about climate change, democracy, and the importance of compassionate leadership, especially during times of crisis. One of his most impactful speeches after leaving office was delivered at the Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture in South Africa in 2018. In that speech, he warned about the dangers of division and polarization in society. He explained that when fear and hatred take control, societies risk losing what makes them strong: unity, tolerance, and belief in progress. He also emphasized the importance of democracy, encouraging young people to stay engaged in their communities and political systems. He reminded them that democracy is not just about voting, it is about standing up for what is right, fighting for justice, and working toward equality for all. Barack's words continue to inspire people around the world, especially those fighting for human rights, climate justice, and democracy. He uses his platform not for personal gain, but to give a voice to the marginalized, the oppressed, and those often forgotten. In addition to his public work, Barack Obama has also focused on writing. His memoir, A Promised Land, was released in 2020 and quickly became a bestseller. The book offers a detailed look into his time in office, his challenges, and his achievements. More than just a political account, the memoir is a personal reflection on leadership, service, and making difficult decisions. Barack openly shares his fears, doubts, and moments of uncertainty. Yet throughout it all, he never lost his belief in hope, change, and the power of service. He writes about the weight of responsibility he felt as president, as well as the moments of joy that reminded him why he chose this path. He also reflects on his family and the sacrifices they made during his time in office. He speaks with deep love and respect for his wife, Michelle Obama, describing her as a constant source of strength and wisdom. Michelle was not only his biggest supporter, but also a leader in her own right, advocating for education, health, and empowerment. Barack often credits her for keeping him grounded and reminding him of what truly matters: family, love, and helping others. The book also explores the challenges he faced as the first African American president and how those experiences shaped his perspective. He reflects on criticism from both sides and the difficulties of working within a system resistant to change. Yet he also shares moments of progress that reassured him he was making a difference. Throughout his life, Barack Obama has been guided by his faith. He has often spoken about how his Christian beliefs shaped his views on justice, equality, and service. For him, faith is not just about religion. It is about living with integrity and doing what is right, even when it is hard. One of the most emotional moments of his presidency came after the tragic shooting at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. In 2015, during his speech honoring the victims, Barack sang the hymn Amazing Grace, a moment that deeply moved millions around the world. His voice trembled with emotion, but in that moment, he represented compassion, healing, and hope. Even today, his faith continues to guide him as he speaks on issues of justice, equality, and human rights. While widely respected, Barack Obama has also faced criticism. Some believe his presidency did not go far enough in areas like healthcare, racial equality, and income inequality. Others argue he was unable to deliver the level of change people expected. However, Barack has always maintained that he did the best he could under challenging circumstances. He acknowledges that not every decision was perfect and that there were failures along the way, but he believes leadership is about continuing forward, even in difficult times. He teaches that mistakes are part of growth, and what matters is learning from them and continuing to push for progress. As we reach the end of Barack Obama's remarkable journey, it is important to reflect not just on his achievements, but on the lessons his life offers. His story is not just about politics or power, it is about resilience, belief in change, and the potential within each of us to make a difference. Barack Obama faced incredible challenges, from discrimination to doubt, yet he never gave up. What set him apart was his belief that anything is possible if you are willing to work for it, fight for it, and believe in it with all your heart. His life proves that no matter where you come from or what obstacles you face, you have the power to shape your future. One of his most powerful messages is this: don't wait for the world to change, be the change. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by problems, but Barack showed that even small actions can lead to big results. His story reminds us that leadership is not about control. It is about empowering others. It is about inspiring people to believe in themselves and take action. Every one of us has the ability to lead in our families, our communities, and our daily lives. So what does Barack Obama's legacy mean for you? It means you are capable of more than you think. You have the strength to create change. Face your fears, overcome obstacles, and never give up on your dreams. His life shows that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. Even when the world says no, you can still say yes. Barack Obama never allowed his circumstances to define him. He refused to accept limitations and kept moving forward, staying true to his values even when it was difficult. And because of that, he achieved what many once thought impossible. Now, it's your turn. The world needs your voice, your ideas, and your unique perspective. Be brave, take action, keep moving forward, even when it feels hard. No dream is too big, and no challenge is too great. Your journey is just beginning, and it is full of endless possibilities. Remember, every day is a new chance to make a difference. The next time you face a challenge, think of Barack Obama, his belief in hope, in change, and in the power of people. Most importantly, believe in yourself. You have the power to transform your life and impact others. Your future is in your hands, and just like Barack Obama, you can build a legacy that inspires generations. So rise up, take that first step, and never stop believing the world is